Good day, this is Bennett, also known as Jeremiah. Today we're going to do like solve for x and y when we're given this situation. If you're interested in more questions, the playlist is found at the end of this video. It is also found right here on the top right of the screen at the suggested video. Alright, let's begin. Here are these two equations, so we're given the equations and we're asked to solve for x and y. Most students know how to solve for x and y, they know how to solve simultaneously. However, whenever it comes out in the exponential form, it seems to intimidate a lot of people. So let's deal with it. First of all, we're just going to use the substitution formula because substitution formula usually works everywhere. So the easiest thing to make the subject of the formula is when we look at this equation. So when you look at this equation, usually the one that does not have a coefficient is the easiest to make the subject of the formula, or rather the one that has a coefficient of 1, right? So this has a coefficient of -1. So whenever you make something with the coefficient the subject of the formula, you will have a fraction. So it's best to choose something that is a coefficient of 1 or -1 and make it the subject of the formula. So if we want to make this the subject of the formula, we're going to end up having -y is equals to 3. And when we take this to the other side of the equation, we'll end up having -2x. So we have to make y the subject of the formula and not -y. So we have to divide everything by -1 so that we can make it positive. So then this will give us y is equals to -3 plus 2x. So we have made it the subject of the formula. So let's deal with the biggie. This confuses a lot of students. What do you do when you've got exponents? Well, this is just like solving exponential equations. This we know that it's going to be 3 cubed. However, if you do not know that it's going to be 3 cubed, you can simply type 27 in the calculator. So you have to press equals to, then you have to press shift and fact. So make sure you press equals to first, because if you do not press equals to, it will not work. So if you press 27 and you press shift and fact, it's going to give you 3 cubed. So this is going to be 3 cubed. So whenever a new exponent is introduced, we have to put it in brackets. So whenever there is an exponent outside, for instance, let's just say we've got 16 and we've got 2 to the power of x. When you break down 16, it's going to give you 2 to the power of 4. But because a new exponent was introduced, we have to put it in brackets because there is another exponent outside. And then from here, you would multiply this, then this will become 2 to the power of 4x. So we'll deal with this after. So now we're going to have 3 to the power of y minus 1. So now we know that whenever we've got something like this, let's just say we've got something like this. So we know that whenever we've got this type of thing, according to laws of exponents, we have to multiply these two stuff. So whenever we see brackets, we know we have to multiply. So let's multiply this. Notice that this particular 3, whenever we've got 3 on it, it's the same as 3 over 1. Then we're going to have times x over 3. So now whenever we're multiplying fractions, whenever something is the same but one is the numerator and the other one is the denominator, they both cancel. So this will cancel and just leave x. So basically the result of this stuff is x. So then we're going to have 3 to the power of y minus 1. So this is just like solving for x when x is an exponent, or solving for exponential equations. So notice that the bases are the same. Whenever the bases are the same, we can simply ignore them and write down the exponents. For instance, when you've got something like this, let's just say you've got this stuff, we can simply ignore the bases and just write down the exponents. So notice that this is now our other equation. So let's just call this equation 1 and let's call the other equation equation 2. So now since x is the subject of the formula here, I'm just going to simply substitute this equation into this equation, so that wherever I see x in this equation, I have to put this stuff. So I'm just going to say substitute equation 1 into equation 2. You always have to tell them exactly what you're doing. So it means we will write equation 2 exactly the same. So we'll write y equals to -3 plus 2x. But in place of x, we'll put y minus 1, since x is equals to y minus 1. So this is what we have. So from here we have to distribute. So now we're going to have y is equals to -3 plus 2y minus 2, right? Because 2 times y is 2y and 2 times -1 is -2. So from here, I can now take this to this side of the equation, or if you want, let's just take this to this side of the equation. So then we're going to end up having y minus 2y is equals to minus 3 minus 2. So therefore, we're going to have minus y is equals to minus 5. And if we divide both sides by -1, we're going to end up having y is equals to 5. Just before I continue, if you want to be tutored, whether it is online or physically, whether it is the situation where you're struggling in maths or whether it is the situation where you're good in maths but want perfection, take a screenshot or save these details. Whether you're studying Cambridge, which is the UK curriculum, or whether you're studying NSC, which is the South African curriculum, or IEB, or native courses which start from N1 to N6, or any curriculum you're doing no matter which country you're at, we offer tutorials. We've got lessons and practice sessions 5 days a week. We also give you tests once a week so that we can check your improvement. Just before I finish it off, if you're interested in knowing the prices of the tutorials, the video that contains the prices and the updated contact details, just in case these ones have changed, is found at the end of this video. So we have solved for y. Let's remember that this is a simultaneous equation, so we have to solve for both x and y. So far we've got y, now let's find x. Now whenever you found one variable, in order to find the other variable, you just substitute into any one of the equations. So I'm going to substitute it into this equation because x is already the subject to the formula, so it's easier, even though you can still use that equation. So I'll write this exactly the same. It's just that in place of y, I'll put 5 because y is equals to 5. And we've got x is equals to 4. So there we have it. We have solved for x and y. So if you want, you can even put it in coordinate form. Alright, we have reached the end of this video. I have included a playlist of similar type of questions. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Any questions you've got or any video you want me to create, please comment below. See you in the next video.